All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's live stream. Today is the last trading day of the week. Before we head off into our weekend to do something fun, I hope. But before all of that, let's see if we can't find a couple good trades to take today. Give everyone a few minutes. We'll get started around 9:20. Quickly take a look at the market and watch the opening bell here. We'll also take a look at the calendar to see what news was announced this morning and what we have up ahead. And then we'll get trading. All right, Robin, good morning. Welcome. Khaled, good morning. How goes it? Well, Boundaries, good morning. Hey, are you new to the channel, or is the day just the first day you've said something in the chat? If you are new to the channel, just give us a quick, one sentence about you, where you're from, and how long you've been trading. Sniper, good morning. How's it going? Ugh, all right. Sorry about that, Khaled. Let's see if we can't find a clean setup that maybe you'll like better. Hey, Mess, good morning. Good morning, Chuck. But yeah, Khaled, if you don't feel good about trading for the rest of the day, then it's perfectly fine. And a lot of times it's the best idea to just be done for the day, maybe switch over to a demo account, or just be done for the day in general and come back next week ready to go. All right, let's take a look at where we are on the news announcements this morning. So we had a high impact news event at 8:30, where it's the Empire State Manufacturing Index. So I think it's 100 or maybe 200 manufacturers in New York. They asked them about how orders are going, what do they see for the upcoming year, how are their financials looking, that kind of thing. What's their outlook? So what above zero indicates improving conditions. Actual greater than forecast is good for currency. So that's sort of the guide they gave us on how to read the numbers. It's a leading indicator of economic health. Businesses react quickly to market conditions, and changes in their sentiment can be an early signal of future economic activities such as spending, hiring, and investment. Survey of 200 manufacturers in New York State. All right. So what we had was, oops, let me get rid of this. All right. So they thought that there would be 7 basis points worth of worsening conditions for the month. It came in at negative 20.9, so negative 21 basis points, much worse than what they had previously thought was going to occur. And then also at 9:15, we had a medium impact where they thought it was going to be flat on industrial production month over month, and it was a 0.1% improvement. So not a big impact here, and it was already scheduled to be medium impact. But on the high impact news event, they were much worse than what they thought. And that's a lot of that has to do with where was I going with that? Oh, yeah. So this is weakening economic condition, which is going to impact the dollar the most. And so we'll look and see if the dollar has been falling. That's what we would expect. And it doesn't mean the dollar falls exactly at 8:30. A lot of times that is the case. But what happens is in some cases, before the dollar can fall, it first needs to take some sort of buy side liquidity. So you may still see it buying up. And once it reaches whatever goal or target it was looking for on buy side, then you'll see it sharply trade towards sell side. Right. Let's see. Since it's Friday, what is our outlook for next week? Okay, so nothing on Monday. So traditional Monday. A lot of times there's nothing on Monday. Only a medium impact on Tuesday, and looks like Wednesday, Thursday are the high impact news events next week, and nothing on Friday. So next week is going to be, I don't know, a little bit different because there's less news there. So we may get a few more times where we're looking at seek and destroy conditions as opposed to expansions, but we'll take that as it comes next week. But as of today, we've already hit 2 of the news events. We have one more high impact news event at 10. So let's keep that in mind right after the opening bell. And that's the University of Michigan consumer sentiment. It's the prelim. There'll be a final one, I think, that comes out in 2 weeks. But this is what we got. All right, dollar. Let's see where we are. Go to the daily. Okay. So the daily, like I said, we would expect there to be some sort of retraction from the dollar. We have or had bearish fair value gap here. Right. Okay. Oddly enough, price has already traded in, hit the equilibrium point, and we now see it retracing. We did have as I mentioned, the negative news at 8:30, which should drive price down. So if we go to the hourly, we should see the retraction. Okay, so it looks like the retraction actually started earlier. Retraction started last night around 10. News was announced here during this bullish candle. So price pushed up, hit another bearish fair value gap right here. Started to pull back towards the end of the 8 o'clock hour, and we saw it push down. However, it's now retraced back up and still in that same bearish fair value gap. So we'll see where that leads the dollar. We're expecting it to push down. If you look at it just on a market structure, we had a bullish push up, bearish push down, a failure, bullish push, failure. So it came up and retraced back down, closing below, and then it shot down, sweeping this low right here. All right. So now we got a retracement back. We're expecting the retracement to be at the 50% level, which is this green line right here at 103,395. Just go ahead and slide this over now. So that's the 50% level right there. So we do expect, even though, so price broke structure to the downside, so we expect at least a 50% trade back up, and we're expecting a failure. So at some point, I'm expecting this to fall off and we start putting a new candle back down. So hopefully, if it doesn't happen on the back half of this hour, then during the 10 o'clock hour, I'm expecting price to then move over into this candle and then must move downwards. Okay. Ooh, we're running out of time. Quickly. Right. So we had price breakdown here, put in a low, started buying up. We thought it was going to sweep the low here. It failed, started pushing back down. This was yesterday's candle. Today's candle traded back up to a little bit past the midpoint of this candle. And then we started breaking down once again. Here's a bullish fair value gap. So by the end of the day, if we're still down here somewhere, then obviously this fair value gap here will be invalidated. But if we can get it to push back up, then it'll remain and it'll continue to be a level of support going into the future. Let's see. Yep, we're still bullish here, so we're still looking for highs to be swept. So 52.57, and we'll continue to monitor price today and see whether we're going to get there or if this entire week will play in between the range of last week. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is Monday's candle. Yep, so last week this was the high right here, and then this was the low. So this entire week is trading in between the high and the low of last week, and we'll see the same thing on Nasdaq when we go. Right, see the same. It's essentially just trading sideways and consolidating this week, unless we get sweeps of these lows, which so far we have not seen. All right. Looks like we may actually see that very soon. So opening bell is here in just a moment. Let's see if there's anything else to see here on the hourly. Nope. No, we broke structure on the downside, at least on the hourly. I'll need to check the 4 hours, so I'll do that while the opening bell is happening. But I know at least on the hourly, we're bearish, and all time frames lower than that, we're also bearish. So we'll keep that in mind as we're looking for setups today. Mostly it'll be shorts unless we see something else that's going to push price higher. At least in the near term, in the morning, we're definitely still looking for shorts. All right, let's switch down and we'll get ready for the opening bell here, and I will take a look at the chat and see who's here. All right, Ricardo, Ketty, Molly, A. Good morning, everyone. How's it going? All right, March 11th low looks like it's getting ready to fall even before the opening bell. There it goes. March low. Actually, I'll leave it there for a second until, let me get the charts all marked up, get my midnight and 8:30 open moved around, and then we'll take a look at which session highs and lows are still open. Gospel Trader, good morning. All right, so Monday's low, so we just took out the low of the week. Go ahead and remove that now. Let's see, so we can see already the London low has been traded through. Where's the London high? London high was made here, traded through. So London high and low gone. You see the Asia high traded through as well. Asia low traded through. So there are no session highs and low left. We took out the weekly low just now that was down here. That was the May 11th low that we were showing. We have the previous day low already traded to as well. We have the weekly low, the previous daily low, all session highs and low. Everything's traded to already. Clean up our screen then. All right, Laughter. I take it you ate well on that drop. Hey, Dorcas. Good morning. That makes sense. Make your money early and be out by lunchtime. Looks like it wants lower prices. Nothing's really holding. We do have February 29th London low and February 22nd's London low, which also are probably daily lows as well for those days. All right, so I can just, here, just February 29th low and same for 22nd. And then on a weekly time frame, we have equal lows at 18,075, and that was, you may remember last week we saw that price was pushing down really heavily, and it got within a couple ticks of sweeping the low, and it didn't take the low, and then we saw price run away, and so this may be coming back finally to get those equal lows. And if anyone saw my weekend outlook from last weekend, I highlighted the equal lows on a weekly time frame, and that I was expecting the equal lows to be swept first prior to moving higher. And here we are on Friday, just now getting down to where the equal lows are. So I was expecting a Monday, Tuesday equal low and then a push higher, whereas it went higher and now it's sweeping equal lows, which could just mean that price is moving in the opposite direction. I was expecting it to continue bullish, whereas now maybe it wants to shift and push bearish, but we'll see. First, it needs to sweep the lows, and then we need to see how it reacts after that. Does it continue to drive lower, or do we see a reaction and impulse in the opposite direction? Yep. Equal lows are done. Cool. February 29th low is consequent encroachment of in 1 hour BISI. And look at the reaction from that level. Already moved up 30 points from touching it to the tick. Ashla Soul, good morning. How's it going? Um, Not sure yet. Slash, it's selling right now, but that could change. So it may not be the same thing all day. Molly, actually, I still need to file mine, so I'm not 100% sure just yet. All right. All right, Deepak. Good job. Way to go today. Hey, Queen, good morning. You're early today. Oh, does it? ES has more defined structure. Okay. LP. Hey, Kendrick. It looks like we might get a break of that short-term high, possibly. Things, then definitely stick with what you know or with what works. Let's see if we get price to move right here and then back down and then back up. Oops. Excuse me. Thank you. Thank you, Robin. Appreciate it. All right, so it came down first. Still hasn't tapped into 50% of this level here. Maybe that means we're going to just plow through it as opposed to touching it and then tapping back down. All right. Yep. Everyone, we have news coming in about 5 minutes. High impact news at that. So if you're in a position already, just, do what you do. just want to make sure everyone was aware. High impact news coming in 5 minutes. It's the um, University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Preliminary Report. It's step one complete. Let's see now if we get a run up. So now we got 50% of that. Let's see if that's enough. And now it moves. Okay, news in 1 minute. Hey, JR, good morning. All right, here's the news. Let's see what happens. All right, went the opposite direction of what I was looking for. Or not. We'll see. For this area to be swept. All right. Did not do it. So I did get the push up to this level, rejection back down to this level. So you could either took a short scalp up or short scalp down, but no expansion to the upside. So February 29th low, it's been tapped twice. Oops. What's that happening? There we go. There we go. Finally, I was able to select the line. All right. This hour breaker above has been support for price since the 5th of March, but finally it has fallen. And we had a close below for the hour, so we'll get rid of it now. Clean up our screen a bit. February 22nd low, there it is, gone. You know what? Let me hold it until it's traded through. But let's also go and look for additional. All right, it's been traded through now. February 21st now. But on the hourly, so this was a heavily bullish day with large scale candles. So there's lots and lots of bissies on its way down that it's running into now. Okay, so this was a 1600. Oh, this must have been Nvidia's announcement of earnings, and price took off at 4 o'clock. I remember that day. Right. Okay, all three of these BISIs are on an hourly time frame. Just want to make sure everyone realizes that. All right, let's just take a quick look over and see where we are on the others. See where dollars trading and how the other indices are looking. All right, we have relative alignment here with the exception of Dow. Dow has not swept the low from yesterday. So we do have that level of confluence there. The other two have pushed heavily below yesterday's values, but the Dow has not achieved that yet. And we also see the dollar being not necessarily strong at the moment, but not showing any weakness. I'll say that. All right, let's look and see what were the results of the news event. Okay, so slightly worse than what the forecast was. Actual grade and forecast good for currency, so that means this is bad for currency. 14 days apart. Surveys by 500 consumers, which asks respondents to rate the relative level of current and future economic conditions. And yeah, just basically how they feel about what way things are going and what's coming in the future. And looks like the survey came in a little bit worse than what they thought, which should be bad for currency. Like I said, we still see the dollar not necessarily showing any levels of weakness. It is inside of a SIBI right now, which could reject price. I thought it would do it last hour. It kind of held inside of it, didn't trade above and close above. So now we're back in it. Let's see if the rest of this hour starts to sell off at some point, even though the first 10 minutes hasn't looked that way. Yeah, sure. So the long I was in was essentially just a change in state of delivery. I That's really where I should have gotten in at. But we were charging down, making lower lows, right? And then we had this candle right here, followed by the next candle, which was larger than this candle. Then we had this candle here take out a swing high. So we had a wick here with lower on both sides. We had this candle close above. So really the entry should have been here at 870. I waited for the next candle to close, which then created a breaker here and a close above. So I entered on a market execution. And that's why my entry wasn't great. And that's why I was sliding my stop loss. My entry should have been down here. But that was the reason for the long. And since it's on the 1 minute time frame, I would have been aiming at something in this range here as a TP. So that's why I think I had these equal highs right here as the TP level. So I would have been looking to try to get about, 25 to 30 points there. It ended up getting stopped out with 5 points. So it was very similar to a scalp that I look for 5 points. And I was able to get that even though I was hoping for more. So let's see what happens. Yep. For everyone enjoying the live stream this morning, if you could hit the like button or the thumbs up, however you see it, that would be much appreciated. And thank you for supporting the channel. If you're brand new and it's your first time here, welcome. And go ahead and subscribe to make sure that you get invitations to future live streams and that you never miss out. It'll also send you reminders just in case you forget. Hey, Miss Healthy, good morning. How's it going? All right, just had a tap back to the breaker. So let's see if it runs for these equal highs. I was looking at 128. I don't know why I didn't re-enter. Jeez. These highs, 18,128 on the 2 minutes. Let's see where we are. If it closes above, then yes, that will become another breaker. Yes. Five-point scalp if it turns around on me. All right, there it is. Fine, I'll just keep taking 5 points every time it gives it to me. All right, everyone, hang in there for just a moment. I'm gonna go and refill my coffee. I'll be back in 2 minutes. We got 10:30 coming up in just a couple minutes. right. I keep forgetting I'm not up on the screen. Yeah, I was really hoping to get a retrace either to 50% of the breaker, or let's see what 50% of this manipulation leg would be. Okay, so that's down here as well. I was really hoping for some type of retracement, at least down to 74. And that's why I was taking market executions, because it looked like price was going to take off from where it currently was, as opposed to retracing back to where I was hoping it would go. All right, finally got a break of the high over here from this high. Finally got a closure above with this most recent candle. Let's see now, maybe it'll retrace back into the range. Be this range here. %50 would be 18,095. Templar, good morning. $18,095. Did it retrace that far? Exactly, almost. Templar, one of my biggest pet peeves is when people join the join the chat and all they want to know is, have I taken any trades? And even if I did take trades, I don't think it helps us at all. I mean, you can go back and watch the feed, but I think what's important is that we look at price action and we move forward with, what are we looking for next? What are we trying to do? Um, but just always following up and saying, "Hey, are you taking trades? Did you take any trades?" Um, I mean, I'm not angry, but I feel like it's since you're here every day, I should just let you know. Right, I should have taken that one since it worked out pretty well. But I remember I was pointing out, I said we were at no, what did I look at? I said 105. 105, I think was our midpoint we were looking for. Yeah, right here, 105, 18105. It retraced down to 094. Okay. And then ran to target there. Actually, no, I thought it was 095. Hang on. 099. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I didn't think you were doing anything malicious. I just wanted to let you know that it doesn't it doesn't work for me when people jump in and that's the first thing they ask is, did you take any trades? So, I mean, I'm not mad at you at all. But if I don't say anything, you'll probably keep doing it, and I'm sitting over here wondering why. Hey, there's a runoff. All right, so it got a little bit higher. I think I had originally mapped out 128, and it ran up so far already to 140 something. Sweet. It's all good. Move this. I don't expect it to come back down here from up here. Maybe it'll retrace back into this area here. Once we had a takeoff there, now we can measure out and map this piece as a potential retracement area. Mm. No, it's not easy at all. It's not easy at all because the thing is, everyone has an opinion, right? So I'm the only one being exposed to everyone, but then everyone has an opinion. Whether I entered a certain spot and they're like, hey, why'd you do that? Or, hey, why'd you move your stop? Or, hey, why don't you be more patient? Or it's like, everyone has an opinion and that's not really what it's for. I thought we were, the whole point was for us all to come in and do our own thing, you know, form a community and support one another in what we're doing. And, I mean, it'll take some getting used to and it'll get better as, time goes on. But there are some days where it's not as good as others. I'll say that. Nice one, CEO. Yep. And the things that happen more times than not is that, we're on here for 3 hours, but not everyone's here for the entire time. And so people who join late, when they join in, the first thing they ask is, what did I miss? Right. And I always take the approach as to like when you're in class, if you ever came to class late, you wouldn't raise your hand and ask the teacher to go over what you missed. You'd wait to the end of class and then go and say, hey, I was 20 minutes late. Did I miss anything really important? Or did the parts that I catch, was that the emphasis of the daily lesson? So it's just one of those things where when you recognize you were late to the show, you don't necessarily interrupt and ask for the person to go over what you missed. Hey Ray, good morning. How's it going? All right, here's one I missed. So we had a closure above this breaker over here. We also have a fair value gap. So we have the unicorn set up and we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 retracements in here. Hey Vivian, good morning. How's it going? Hey MSE, good morning. Oh man. Yeah, Queen, I didn't even see your comment. I didn't realize your internet went out. Oh man, it's terrible. I guess the only saving grace is at least you can switch over to TradingView on your phone and find the internet from the cell towers as opposed to from your internet provider. Mm, 30 points. All right, CEO. Nice. Very nice trade. I've gotten 2 5 pointers so far. Okay. All right. We'll catch you this afternoon. Take care. All right, TJ. Good morning. Oh, all right. So we done made it to another macro period already. You're right. Everything counts. You know what? I want to get a trade back down here. See if we get that during this macro. Oh, damn, Queen, that's terrible. Sorry about that. It's awful. I was going to ask you a question about the changing state of delivery on the chart here, but see, you're having technical difficulties right now. You know what? If it takes out that swing low, then take me out. I'm of the belief a price should bounce from here. If it doesn't, it wants to retrace further. All right, everyone, it's 11 o'clock now. We have one more hour in this morning session. All right, looks like we might not get that bounce. No, we didn't. That's fine. So we took a 5-point loss there. Fully recognizing that we have a 1 hour fair value gap that price touched by one tick above. Oh, yeah. So on the 1 minute, when I saw this candle at 10:00 at 10:09, when I saw it take out this swing high here, I was thinking, oh man, that's probably a change in state of delivery. I should probably enter on a market execution, but I didn't. And then I saw things moving, and then I wondered if that was the entry, if that should have been the market execution right there. So it didn't close below, which would have invalidated the breaker. Hasn't happened yet. And we have sort of this trend line liquidity here. So at some point that may drop and we may see price push up, sweeping all of those highs. Hey, Splash, what's going on? Yeah, so we already tapped the 1 hour fair value gap above. And so that's why when the long I was in, I had a short stop loss just because I recognized that we did have the fair value gap above, and it may be either doing a deeper retracement from that, or it may be turning around, and that was as high as we were going to go. So I didn't want to risk too much there, and it was due to the fact that we have this, and the fair value gap, I have it at 18, like 170, 172 ish, something like that. Okay, yep. So that's a deeper retracement I was looking for. Had a feeling it was coming. All right, so now we have a closure below this breaker there, so I'll get rid of it. Although it may still be valid on the 2 or 3 minute. I'm not sure. I didn't even look at those time frames. I drew it from the 1, so it's fine to delete. I can always redraw it if I go to the 3 minute and see it somewhere else. All right, 10 more seconds, and then we are done with the macro. Yeah, I don't like this candle here, this upside down pin bar there. Not a fan of that formation. So that's okay. Yeah, me too. Queen, did you catch my question earlier about the change in state of delivery? Which candle took did, I thought it was this candle here at 10009. At 1009, I thought it was that candle, but I was trying to confirm that with you. I'm not sure if you caught that question. Because when I was watching it, I was thinking of taking a market execution at the end of that candle once it closed. Uh, Yeah, it looks like today's price action very similar to yesterday, where you got a big price move from 9 to 10 o'clock, and then from 10 to 12, it just pretty much found itself a 40 to 50 point range and just sat in there. So I won't force anything. We'll wait until we see another viable entry. I tried to force the last one just because we were in the macro period, and so I felt like that was a good entry to take. Maybe the price was going to move from that area, and just didn't get that push I was looking for. All right, back into the 1 hour of Bissy here. We had a retracement right around 10 o'clock where it traded into the upper one and the lower one. I know they look like the same, but there's a small split, or they overlap just barely right around 18077. 18077 is where the two Bissies overlap. So we had it traded into both of them before the hour ended. Of course, it had traded back above and closed above. So both Bissies are still valid coming out of that 9 o'clock hour. And now we're in 11 o'clock hour and we're trading back down to them. Mm. Yeah, I thought that was a good area for that to do, for it to hold there and then push up, but had other plans. And it's fine. Like I said, it came off of a 1 hour civvy pushing down. So that's a higher time frame, which would then, even if we go and measure this last leg up, right, we're now just now at 60%, 70% would be a nice little retracement area for an entry possibly. But that's if it's going to buy. I mean, if we don't see any reversal pattern or anything here with the candles, then we'll just carry on with business as usual and look for shorts. Right, so it did return back to the breaker here. It tapped in. Right, it did hit 83. TJ, you're in. All right. Well, got an announcement to make, and it's only possible because of all of you who show up every day and are here, offering your insight, offering your friendship and trading expertise. Um, we have finally crossed over 5,000 subscribers, and not necessarily crossed over, but we're at 5,000 exactly. So thank you very much, all of you. I thought maybe we could hit it this week after we were about 80 short from last week. But I was a little nervous because early in the week we were getting like 5 subscribers a day. And somehow yesterday we got an additional 50, which put us in range. And here we are. And so everyone, thank you for all your effort. Thank you for all that you do. It's not possible without you. Right. Appreciate it, Katie. Thank you. Yeah, let's hope. Let's hope so. Let's keep going and see where we land. Let's see if we can get something, let's get even more. But 5,000 is a great milestone to hit. So I'm happy that we're here. Oh, I forgot to put this in here. Here on this low time frame, we do have a unicorn on the 1 minute here. All right, even if I temporarily move these out of the way, I'll bring them back. Oh, Marcel, I appreciate you. Thank you. Credit for what? A credit for your trade or a credit for internet? Yeah, that's the only thing that scared me about working from home is that even in my area, we lose internet or we lose power once every 3 or 4 months, which for me just seems a bit excessive. It hasn't happened in the last like 6 months, but one time last year, it happened probably twice a week for a month. And I don't know if it was because of new construction in the area or I really don't know what it was, but it was just very hard to find reliable electricity and internet. Exactly. Exactly. Everyone hit the like button. We've crossed 5,000 subscribers. Actually, we're 5,001 now. So we have actually crossed the milestone. DJ 183. Look at that. Already got 30 points. Oh, okay. All right, Queen. Juan Carlos, how's it going? Yeah, we're now at 11:30, so I don't know. I just thought by now it would have shown its hand. But I did notice the dollar wasn't moving, and that could be the reason. So um, we had news that came in this morning that wasn't really favorable for the dollar, and so we're expecting for the dollar to fade. And so far, even when it does, it rebounds and closes still inside of this bearish fair value gap here on the hourly. And so at some point, this needs to exhaust itself, and we need to see price start to push lower and sweep lows. It keeps making higher lows. Um, and so even with the negative news, it really hasn't impacted the dollar that much. So I'm hoping that this was just the dollar making a couple last ditch efforts to um, satisfy buy side, and then we're going to look for sell side this afternoon. However, I got to caveat that with the afternoon session generally doesn't give a large range for the dollar. So we'll see. All right. You can see yesterday, these four candles was the morning, and then this was the afternoon range, pretty much stuck in these 4 or 5 candles. So we'll see what this afternoon brings. Came right up to it almost. Or we just came down and swept all these equal lows that were left behind from the last little impulse move up there, the little leg up. $600. All right, TJ. Good job. Marcel, I did not enter that trade. No, no, I didn't. right, maybe it'll return to 18,096 and sell off from there. Yeah, it doesn't look like it wants to be bullish right now. So we'll continue looking at bearish activity here. Oh yeah, I hear you, Sniper. No party right now. Maybe at 10. Maybe at 10 we'll have a party. That would be a dream. If we can get 5K in 1 month, that'd be amazing. But I hear you. There's the cake. 10-15. And there you go. Appreciate it. Thanks. ET 128. Yeah, Queen, I hear you. Yeah, let's find us an A plus setup. So far, the only A plus setup that's presented itself really this morning was down here. We had impulse out just after 10. 10:09. We had a break of the short-term high, closure above. That was really the entry. Should have went in at 18,070. And then everything that happened after that would have been just you managing your trade, and it actually ran up 100 points from there. Delivered 100 points. Even during the previous most recent macro, we had a break of structure down. With let's see if this was the high, then that came from this low here. Actually, no, more like this one. Yeah, it was here. So it would have been this low here. And we had a close below on this candle at 1054. We had to retrace back into the area above. I mean, not 50%, but it was a small retrace. And then price just kind of melted down from there. But the best entry really was down here on this impulse candle, overtaking this short-term high. And if you look at when both of these occurred, this impulse candle at between 1009 and 1010, so that's inside the macro. And then we have here where we broke structure down here on this candle at 1054, so also within the macro. So whenever I mention that the macro is coming, that's one thing that you should be looking for, is whether there's a break of structure on a short-term time frame that you can then find some type of entry. Line with the 15-minute fair value. Okay. Today. Thank you, Molly. I appreciate you. Yeah, it does look like we are going to see lower prices. We're going to probably retest this low that we saw this morning. From there, it looks like we have another. I think it's another hourly fair value gap below, and we do. So we may, if we lose the low that we saw at 10 o'clock, we may go down to 18,000 flat. So put that on your chart, 18,000 flat at 1 hour BISI. That may actually hold price. And then what we might get is, for the rest of the day, a bounce between here and here. So we'll have 2 1 hour confluences. And not that we're going to get this type of seek and destroy for the rest, but I'm just saying price may just stay in between these two ranges, which is about a 200-point range. This is Friday afternoon, so, well, it will be Friday afternoon when we come back. So let's just keep that in mind. So it's about another 75 points down from where we are. The next macro period will give us a lot of information, whether we start breaking below some of these levels, or if we see a bounce and we ended up here somewhere. Yep. So far in our session today, we had the opening bell. Obviously, the opening bell was right around this low here when it traded into the BISI. Well, actually, the opening bell started here at 153. We traded down and found support, 100-point move up, and then 100 from 10 to 11, and then 100-point move down from 11 to now 12. So that's pretty much what we've had during our session this morning. Just looking to see whether when we get to the end of the hour, if we're below these 2 hourly BISIs, because that would invalidate them if we are below at the end of the hour. Yep, so the macro is coming up in another 2 minutes. So I'm gonna go back down to the 1 minute. I know I just switched from it, but it is better if we're on the 1 minute time frame so we can see any of those short-term market structure shifts or break of structure. Okay, we're looking here right now. If it was to shift, that would be the area, or that would be the value. Okay, we finally hit that equilibrium mark here at 0.58. Yeah. All right, 11.50. Now let's see where we go. Yep, you're right, Queen. We definitely have a swing low there at 18.024-ish, somewhere right around there. Let's see, what's that low? 23.75. And then below that, we have a new week opening gap for the week of February the 18th. And that's down at 17,983. 17,983 is new week opening gap for February 18th through the 23rd. Oh, it was so close. I thought it was going to go and take out 18077. See, 50% retracement on that leg. See if it holds up. All right. About 100 points down from where we are now. 17,957 is the all-time high from 2021. So we're almost back down at that level. Obviously, the all-time high back in 2021 was much less. But with the continuous contract, you know how the charts adjust themselves. And just between this quarter and last quarter, the charts adjusted up by 170 points or something. So but if you go back and you look at 2021 on the current continuous contract, it'll show that the all-time high from 2021 was 17,957. That's about 100 points down from where we are now. Cool, calm. Good morning. How's it going? You're just in the nick of time. We had about 5 minutes left in the morning session. We're going to get that break. Be nice to get a break and a close. No worries. No worries. Just giving you a hard time. All right, there's the break. Well, sorry, almost. That's the break of the previous high, but not the one before that. Great. Retrace back down to 50%. Let's see if it gets back up because now we have relative equal highs on 4 or 5 different wicks there. All right, if we lose this lower level, and I'm looking now at 18,010 as the next level to see what the reaction is going to be from price. And anything below that, obviously, we have a bullish fair value gap on the hourly starting at 18 flat. But potentially 1810 might be a turnaround zone. So I just wanted to mark that up. Remember, we're looking to see where we are when the hour closes on these BISIs, whether they're invalidated or not. Okay, well, there it is. It's already 12, and we definitely closed below. So both of these are invalidated. We'll drop these off. Well, let me take that back. Okay, yep, they're both invalidated. The breaker, however, is not invalidated. Or, oh, yes, it is. The breaker was drawn up on the 1 minute. So, yeah, breaker's done too. Let's just clean all this up. Get us a clean chart. So we'll come back after lunch and then we'll see what we have and mark it up from there. So yeah, everyone, thanks for this morning session. Thanks for being here. Thanks for everything. We'll be back in an hour after we take a break here. And yeah, that's all I got. So one more session for this week. And again, thank you everyone for your support of the channel. Thank you for helping us get to 5,000 subs. We just crossed over today. We're at 5,002, I think now. So let's see who will be 5,003. But either way, I'll see you in an hour. And thanks. Thanks for everything.